Hi, welcome to the channel. In this video we're taking a look at the outdoor research Helium Bivy. Obviously the beauty of a bivvy is the pack size and the weight. So this is the pack size, it weighs just 530 grams. If you were being particular, you could squish it down further. Obviously the length of the bag is dictated by the single plastic pole. You could take that out and put it separately, and the 530 gram weight, which I weighed on my kitchen scales, also includes 3 DAC pegs. Now I'm not sure if pegs come with this or not. I bought this new without tags from eBay, and it did come with 3 DAC pegs, but I'm not sure if that was just something the seller included or if it's something that Outdoor Research are including with their new Helium Bivvies. The other great thing about bivvies is that they give you great pitching options. So we're on a hill now where it's absolutely covered in long, dense, tuffeted grass, hardly anywhere to pitch. But just next to the summit here, there's just enough space, I think, to pitch this bivvy. And that's what this is all about. Lightweight, compact, and you should be able to find a pitch anywhere with it. So there is a single plastic pole, obviously just clips together like any other tent pole. And as I said, mine came with 3 very lightweight DAC pegs as well. Because it's quite windy, we will just peg it down just to stop it from blowing away. What doesn't make a massive amount of sense to me is at the head end, you've got one little pegging out point here, but you'd expect one to be on the other side, but there isn't, which is slightly strange. So in terms of getting the pole in, nice simple labels where the pole goes, just velcros out, and you just slot the pole in. And once the pole's all the way through, just velcro it up. So what makes slightly more sense now is if you look at the bottom, it also just has one pegging out point, and it is the one opposite to the one on the head end. So it seems to want to keep it tense just by using 2 pegs as opposed to 4 each side. But yeah, slightly odd. And the other thing I would do as well to give it a bit more structure, there's a little hoop here. And so what you do with that is you would attach a guide line. You don't actually attach 2 guide lines, one going out this way, one going out that way. And that would just hold this nice and steady. And it will give it, again, a good bit of structure, and allows you then, when you unzip it, it's not just going to fall back down because it loses the tension from the zip, because obviously it is a clamshell, so you unzip and then get in and sort of slide your way down. In terms of materials used, it uses Pertex Shield diamond fused 2.5L 100% nylon 30D ripstop material on the top. And that is said to be 100% waterproof as well, and you can see that the seams are all taped. And the floor material is also 100% nylon, but it's a thicker 40 denier TPU laminated floor, and it's got 100% polyester mesh on the front if you want to open it up if the weather's good. So like a lot of bivvies, especially hooped ones, it's a clamshell opening, and you can see it has got an internal mesh, so if the weather's good you can roll this up internally with 2 little hooks and hook it up so that you can sleep with a good view. And you can also see that it's got a storm flap, so if you've got the tent, the bivvy completely sealed up, that storm flap's going to stop water getting through the zip, but the zip is going to allow breathability, so you're not going to suffocate in a giant bin bag. Now, I purchased this based on another YouTuber, Join Me Outdoors. I'll drop the link in the description. So what James has done with this is he's actually just takes a couple of pegs with him, so you can roll it up externally and just peg it twice to here, so it's much easier to sort of get in and out of when you're not actually in it completely, because the roll-up design is kind of designed to be rolled up when you're lying internally, and then these little clips there's 2 little hooks inside which they clip onto. So again, it's designed for you to be able to roll it up whilst you're lying in the bivvy, but actually if you're going to be just outside the bivvy, it's going to be easier to do it like that. Now, there is no way of getting into a bivvy that is glamorous or that easy, but to be honest, the clamshell opening, even without that additional 2 guy lines supporting it, does make it really easy to get in. The 2 pegs do actually provide just enough tension to make it a usable device. But you are going to do a lot better if you've got a little few bits and pieces at this head end. So if you're just taking out your phone, maybe a battery charger pack, put a few things in here that would hold it down as well, it would have a much sort of better structure if you're not in it. Obviously a sleep pad, if you get one that's kind of fits the width of it and near enough the length of it and stuff, that is also going to provide it with some really good internal structure, which is recommended if you want to have a really comfy experience. It is actually really quite spacious. So my feet are just about touching the end now. I'm 5'11", so there's plenty of length for someone of my height, and if you're a bit taller, it'd be absolutely fine as well. The hoop design does make a real difference on a bivvy. If you're going to be lying here for a long period of time, you can very comfortably move around at the head end and read and stuff, and there's enough width for you to happily move around as well, so you do not feel that enclosed actually. Now I appreciate if you've got a sleeping mat in here and a sleeping bag, you'll hardly lift it up slightly so you won't feel quite as spacious then. But yeah, it's a really, really nice bit of kit. Incredibly light, incredibly compact, and it feels really well made. Outdoor research do talk about the durability of the material, so whilst they may feel very thin, the Pertex Diamond Fuse stuff is really, really strong in my experience. I've used other Pertex materials on jackets and stuff I've had for many, many years, and they really do stand up to a huge battering of walking through thorns and all sorts of different stuff. So I do have a lot of faith in this, because you don't want to be taking out this kind of thing and thinking, oh, I better take a footprint as well and stuff, because then you start to add up more weight, more stuff, more pack size, and it kind of defeats the purpose. So yeah, you should have good confidence in these materials. So the breeze is really helpfully inflating the bivvy for me. So you can see there the size and all the rest of it. Obviously my head is near the top now, so my feet have got absolutely tons of room at the bottom, but you can see the height and the width. It's really quite generous. If the weather is good, you can see the mesh is going to provide plenty of airflow, really good views. But I think I'm with James from Join Me Outdoors in terms of you just need to peg that top bit out of the way a bit better, because the internal kind of hook mechanism just still leaves it flapping down quite low. So if one of the reasons you want to be in a bivvy is on a summer's evening to have the protection from bugs from the mesh, but you want to see a bit more of the sky and stuff and the stars, then yeah, you might want a slightly better way of pinning that back. Now, you do pay for top-notch materials, lightweight, and a good brand name. Retails for about £200 sort of RRP. You can find it online between £185 and £189. I didn't pay that. I paid £130 from eBay, brand new without tags, and I had a £25 voucher, so £105 is what it cost me. So whether it's worth it, it's going to be up to you really. You can see it's got a very small pack size, only weighs about 500 grams, and really good robust material, should last you many, many years of happy bivvying. And it does offer up just a few different options to a traditional tent. It's really quick and easy to set up. You can picture just about any tiny space you can think of, it's going to fit in there. It's waterproof. It should be reasonably breathable. Obviously, you're still going to get issues with condensation. It is what it is. It's not going to be a miracle device. But because of its pack size and its low weight, it does make a good emergency shelter. So if you were just hill walking or mountain walking for a day, you could chuck this into your bag. It's not going to weigh too much at all. It's not going to slow you down. It's not going to fill your pack. And as an emergency place just to lie up if you were injured or anything happened, it would keep you warm and dry in the summer months. Obviously, if it's winter time, you need a load of layers. But it is more effective than just one of those emergency sacks. Now, I hope to get out in this over the summer, or certainly the spring, autumn. So if you want to catch up with how I'm getting on with it, then do subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and you'll see me out and about with it in future. But obviously I'm going to make a couple of small changes first. I'm going to add that guy line to the front. I'm going to measure up my various sleep mats and see how they fit and which one would be a good fit for it. Obviously you're going to want a fairly lightweight sleep mat, because the whole benefit of taking this is you want to go light. So you don't want to pack a really, really heavy sleep mat and kind of defeat the purpose of it. Now, it is quite breezy now, so you can see it's moving around. And that's the only criticism I have it so far, is the fact that I would have liked a second peg and out point at the front, if I'm honest. I think it's a bit weird they didn't come with one, at least to give you the option. It doesn't weigh, it doesn't weigh very much. They could have just put two on there. Would stop it flapping around so much. But again, if you'd actually put stuff in there, it wouldn't be an issue. It's only because I've got it empty at the moment that it is looking like it's an issue. The other tweak I'm going to make, and again it's based on what James has done, is get a couple of little pegs so you can peg this fly sheet out of the way a little bit more and just have the mesh. So if it's summertime, you'll get much better sort of vertical views above you, because the design of that, the way it hooks, it just leaves too much material flapping down. It's a really odd little bit of design, that. So that has been a really quick look at the Outdoor Research Helium Bivy. It is a really nice bit of kit. I am really pleased with it, and I'm looking forward to going camping in it, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity it allows. I have done a lot of walks lately, and I wonder if anyone else is like me, that when they're out and about walking, do you always sort of look at places where you can pitch a tent and stuff? I absolutely do that, and sometimes I'm thinking, oh, this would be a great place to pitch in terms of the views and the rest of it, but there's not really enough space to pitch a tent. That is what this kind of bivvy solves, because you can squeeze it in pretty much anywhere. So there's a couple of places I've seen recently where I'd like to do a bivvy camp, and I just happened to get a good deal on this bivvy. So let me know what you think of it in the comments. Are you someone who does use bivvy bags and bivvy things like this a lot, or you haven't but you'd like to try, or is it something that you just could not see yourself ever getting into? Yeah, so do let me know in the comments what you think of it, and whether it is something you want to try or something that you do all the time. So if you made it this far, huge thanks for watching as always. Do subscribe if you want to catch up with me in my future ventures with this little bivvy, and I'll be sure to catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.